And we've been following this story closely. Jurors in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial will resume deliberations in about a half an hour from now. He faces 5 felony counts that could potentially put him behind bars for life. But this case and its presentation has certainly been unique. Judge Schroeder repeatedly called out prosecutors. He also threw out the use of certain words used in the trial. Just hours before the jury was handed this case, a misdemeanor weapons charge was dropped after lawyers remeasured the barrel of the semi-automatic weapon used by Rittenhouse. Now, we want to get an idea of how all of the details of the case and all of the things that have been so peculiar could impact the jury and their decision. Joining us right now is attorney James White, the founder of White Law PLLC. He's been involved with some big cases, including USA Gymnastics, the Flint water crisis. James, thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning.
So we're entering day 2 of deliberations in this case. I think the big headline today for us was the unique choice by the judge to have Kyle Rittenhouse himself, the defendant, pull the names of 6 jurors to be placed on this alternate list. Very, very unique. Didn't you think?
Absolutely. Very unusual. I've never seen that happen before. There's always a piece to jury selection that is completely random, and the defendants usually participate in those choices along the way. To have Kyle pick out random names doesn't really speak to any prejudice as it pertains to the outcome, but it does support some of the accusations that this judge, appears to be biased towards the defense. Very unusual. At the end of the day, I don't think it's going to have any impact. It's still a random draw, but very unusual. It's a signal from the bench that there's some concern to keep Kyle into the mix, and I've never seen that before.
Yeah, never seen it before either. Rittenhouse, of course, excused those 6 jurors by pulling their names out. Does this set a different tone? Does this actually send a message to the jury, do you think? And what would that message be?
Well, I don't know that it sends a message to the jury. I think that ultimately it creates, again, it adds to this idea that the judge has some level of bias and feels a need to involve this young man in the proceedings more than has ever happened in my lifetime or professional career when it comes to a criminal defendant accused of murder. I think the jury probably has already taken from some of the actions of the court that there appears to be some leanings. Now, whether that's true or not true is completely up to argument, but I think most public onlookers believe that this judge has some empathy for this defendant, and I think it supports that connotation.
So the gun charge that was dropped, it's a misdemeanor charge. It was based on actually the measurement of the rifle used by Rittenhouse, in his words, to defend himself. In other were critics' opinion, this was something used to provoke violence. So just hours before jurors got this case, they found out this charge was dropped. Any significance to the timeline there?
It is significant. It certainly affected the prosecutor's case. At the end of the day, the misdemeanor charge would have folded into any other convictions and would not have resulted in any significant prison time or jail time in light of what he's looking at. So, as an effect, it didn't have that big of a deal. However, the prosecutor certainly wanted to go into the jury and had planned to go into the jury and argue that he was in possession of an illegal weapon. And so for that to happen at this stage in the proceedings, they had to change their strategy, and now they no longer have that tool in their box, which was a very powerful argument. I think that most of the public sphere, when commenting on this case, 17-year-old goes out of state and possesses a weapon that he's not legally able to possess, which is still the truth under those circumstances. But the fact that the weapon itself has now been deemed legal, I think does have some impact. And the unique thing about this decision is that particular statute that allows minors to carry long rifles was put in place in Wisconsin so that people could go hunting with their parents. It was never intended for young people to walk the streets to protect property that doesn't belong to them with semi-automatic rifles. And unfortunately, you can't parse it. The words are the words, and I think the judge made the right decision. And I suspect the Wisconsin legislature will be addressing this in the relatively near future.
More conversations to be had. James, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.